So the resource person has joined our cloud meeting on behalf of UG Teachers Training Center, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar. I welcome today's guest, Dr. Rajesh Jawlekar sir, to this important uh, meet of this second day of this online NEP and orientation and sensitization course. So, before going to the official lecture, I would request all participants to put their roll numbers in the chat box so that we can have an attendance. All participants kindly put their roll numbers in the chat box. सिर्फ नंबर डालिए आपके ताकि हम लोग इसमें अटेंडेंस उसकी काउंट हो. So just to have a brief introduction of our today's resource person, he has started his currently he is working as a director of incubation center of Kavitri Benabai Chaudhary, North Maharashtra University, Jalgaon. He is an alumni of our university. It is really proud moment for us that he is working there. And today we have called him as a resource person. Dr. Javadekar sir has started initial career in entrepreneurship development domain at MCED, Maharashtra Center for Entrepreneurship Development. Later switched to industry as a strategic human resource leader, having diverse experience in leading human resource management initiative as a part of corporate HR functioning for multiple location covering plant and commercial offices. Uh, in uh, in entrepreneurship development, he has achievement of motivation, training, developing first generation entrepreneurs, developing business plan. In academic, he is a regular visiting faculty of this MMTTC, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada Institute, also Department of Management Science. Then participation has been done by him at national and international conference by the universities and higher education institution. Then he has designed and conducted courses for management institution. Then he is a reviewer of research paper published in NIPM journal to students career guidance and development. He has participated in interaction with NAC committee during visit to Bamboo. And in HR, he is a specialist with strategic orientation towards aligning HR business organizational goal, then institutionalize objective by PMS by incorporating balanced scorecard and variable pay perspective, behavioral competency modeling in line with business and its integration with people processes, then talent management conducted assessment development, passionate trainer, then designed HR policy and procedures in alignment with the business to achieve organizational goal. Then also he is a life member of NIPM, that is National Institute of Personal Management, then life member of National HRD Network, and then chairman of trustee of Alumni Association, Department of Management Science, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada Institute, and also is a trustee of NIPM Educational Trust, Aurangabad chapter. So indeed, it is really an honor and pleasure for all of us to have him here as a resource person. So again, I welcome Rajesh Javadekar sir, and I would now hand over the proceeding to him. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Rafi sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So thank you for the introduction, Rafi sir. In fact, it has always been a pleasure to interact with the faculty members also, those who are directly in touch with the students. And as Rafi sir was explaining, right from my career in corporate sector also. So we used to always, whenever we got an opportunity to interact with the students or the faculty members, I used to always take this opportunity out of my passion. So today, basically, the topic that we are going to discuss is on skill development. Of course, I have some PPTs, but before going for the PPT, I thought it's important for all of us to, understand the current market situation, and especially in context with after working for around 28 years in industry, I would like to share some of my actual real life experiences. Let me share with you my last stint was with Endurance Technologies Limited. Now, Endurance Technologies Limited is around a 10,000 crore company and having its headquarters in Aurangabad. The challenge which we were facing is Endurance having its headquarters in Aurangabad, So the challenge that we were facing is to get the right talent. You get my point? Means we were facing, means one side we say that there is a lot of unemployment, and other side the corporate world, when we were on the other side of the fence. Now I am on your side, like I am in academics. But when I was on the other side of the fence, let me share with you, we used to always say that there is no, log nahi milte hai. No, you don't get the right people. So you can understand, like, there are so many freshers which are there. They used to come for interviews. And when we used to interview them, we used to, I would say it was a process of elimination, not selection. Why I'm saying this? Because, like, for example, tomorrow, when we used to hold walk-ins, let us say of we have around to fill 50 engineers, or why 50? Even if we have to fill 20 engineers, and if we hold walk-in interviews, you can imagine there were at least 500 students who will be coming for the walk-ins. So when you have 500 students who are coming in for the walk-ins, so definitely you cannot, interview all the 500 students. So we used to call it a process of elimination. So we used to eliminate one by one, one by one. So we used to say that, okay, those who are good in academics, let us first have first cut. Let us first interview them. So those, with certain cutoff scores, depending on who are the candidates who have come in. Second, then we used to have some aptitude tests. Now, aptitude tests, you must have heard of it, many a time, that there are a lot of aptitude tests of those who are coming to your campuses. Also, they must be doing some of the aptitude kind of a test or something. So there are different tools which are available in the market. I will not discuss on the tools, but just to name a few, like, there is Thomas profiling, there is 16 MBTI, Myers-Briggs typological indicators, then I think Harrison, and there are some other local profiles, local tools also which are available. Now, the predictability test of these tools is also around 60%. 60 to 80% is considered as a good prediction of the tool. So the companies used to depend on these kind of tools. Now, although they were having the academic scores, why was the tools being used? Because a company would like to not only go just by merely by marks obtained. So they'll be looking for a different kind of, the how the person is, what are his values. It's not just the skill set, but also the values are important. And that is where, our skills, competencies come into picture. I think, under NEP 2021, good thing which is happening, of course, these are the initial turbulence times, because I think this year in Maharashtra, we are going to implement NEP 2020 for the first time, for the first freshers, those who are getting admitted for the undergraduate courses. In our university, we have implemented NEP 2020 last year itself for our PG students in our state, Kavitri Bainabai Chaudhary, North Maharashtra University. So the one good thing which is happening is that, the internship has been added into the curriculum. Earlier, internship was only though for the BTech or the typically the computer, BSc computer or MSc computer students. That was also more of a project base. But now under NEP 2020, so internship is made mandatory, as we all know, and I think it's a very good welcome, thing which is happening in the education. That yes, we have started realizing, because you all, I'm sure, in some or the other stage of your career, you must have heard that in foreign universities or in foreign countries, the children are taught the skills right from their childhood stage. like somebody is interested in electrical repairs, he'll be put into those kind of, electrical courses only. Those were mainly skill based. In fact, if you remember recently, I think if I'm not mistaken, about a month ago, last month, there was an advertisement that, the France government, Germany, there are a lot of employment opportunities for specific skills and trades. And the government of Maharashtra was also, supporting, providing the facilitating the process. What I'm trying to say that if you look at the foreign education, so it's more of a skill base. And in our education system, in our traditional education system, what has happened is, uh, it was more of a academic oriented. I still remember when I actually completed my MBA program, or when I did my BSc program, or when I did my post graduation. So when I was studying as a youngster, so many a times, we there was a general discussion amongst the students. ये तो क्या है, it's just for the sake of scoring that we used to study, because they felt that okay, it's not going to be utilized in the future because maybe in real life. But these were all myths. Let me share with you. These are all myths. See, what we have studied, let us say during my MBA program, what we have studied, the statistics or mathematics, or our science courses that we have studied, probably that helps us to develop our thinking ability. But nevertheless, the importance was not given those kind of things. It was more importance was given to the scoring in the subjects. Now the change that we are seeing is that there is a skill base. I will come to the challenges also, but before that, we'll move on to a presentation to understand how the market is moving. Because we look at the picture that how the market is moving, and then we keep on talking about different things like, we talk about skills. So skills definitely are measurable. When we talk about skill, like for example, communication skill. Communication is a skill. But then are the companies only looking for communication? Does NEP 2020 talk only about developing the skills? Probably no. It says developing the overall employability of the student. So it is not just a skill, but it is also on his competencies. Of course, competency is one of my pet subjects. So I will also discuss on what competencies do you mean by? Like we say, that okay, his competencies are very high. So what is the difference between the competencies and the skills? So we'll have a slight, a touch base upon what is competencies and what is skills. And then how do we sharpen our skills and develop those competencies? Okay, so I will quickly take you through the session. Just the coordinator, I would like to ask, how would be the question answer session? Will it be at the end, or typically you would like to have in between
Sir, you
also?
are the co-host. Tell them to raise the hand because I will also leave the meeting. I have other
Yeah,
works.
I
So
understand.
you
I
you
understand.
will only have to look out all the meetings, sir, intermittently.
Okay. So what I suggest to the participants, so wherever you feel like, asking some question, especially during the presentation, so you can raise your hand. I will try to, answer it then and there itself. Or we can also have it towards the end also. Of course, we'll be having one, open forum like kind of question answers. So I will just take a minute and I will put on to the, share the screen for the presentation. 1 second. Are you able to see the screen? Yeah, participants, are you able to see the screen, the presentation? Okay. Fine. Okay, I think you don't have the right to unmute yourself, right? So you're putting in the chat box that yes, you're able to see the screen. Uh, screen. Screen sharing. Yeah. So, so my title I have given like, the skills and competency development. So we look at, yeah, uh, if in between there is a disturbance or if you're not able to, so you can just raise your hand so that I'll give a pause. Okay, fine. So let's look at like, what is the current market scenario? Now, when I shared with you like, how endurance is, how my last company, we were facing crisis in terms of talent crisis. If you look at, even our parents or even maybe 20, 25 years ago, a person used to join an organization and retire from that same organization. But today, is it happening? It's not happening like that. So probably, there are a lot of people keep on changing the jobs. So what we'll do during the presentation, we are going to look at like, what is the current market scenario in the first part. Then in the second, I will be talking about the future, like, what the future looks like. And especially with AI, again, it is becoming more and more challenging. And third, then we look at like, the way forward, like, how do we develop our competencies and, how do we work on those, our skill sets and other things. So now coming into the introduction. So are you able to see this picture? All of you? So what does it indicate? What is the uniqueness of this picture? What is your observation? Can any one of you type in the chat box the observation? Hello? So what does this picture indicate? If you see here, there is only one seller. If you see here, the business strategies in 1980s, 90s, and 20s. If you see here, there is only one seller, and how many buyers are there? Two. So buyers are more and sellers are less. I don't know how many of you are aware that maybe today we are talking about, almost every individual, an adult above 18 years of age is having a mobile in his pocket. But probably in late 80s and 90s, it was like a dream. Getting a landline connection itself was a challenging task. I remember the waiting period was somewhere around 10 years. That means if you book a telephone in the 1970s, the chances of you, if you are in general category, means non-doctor or, without any premium uh, booking, so you'll get your telephone maybe after 8 to 10 years. I still remember when we first time brought our Priya scooter way back in 1978. My dad had brought it. That was after 5 years of a waiting period. That means he had booked the Priya scooter maybe somewhere in 72, 73, and he got the delivery in 78. The cost of scooter was around 5,000 rupees, and the on money which they were getting was equal to almost the cost of the scooter. What I'm trying to tell you is that the seller was, it was more of a license Raj, where sellers were few and buyers were many. Now, how this scenario changed, in 1990s, if you remember, major change happened. Typically, we call it as an LPG. LPG is not our regular gas, but it is L for liberalization, P for privatization, and G for globalization. So Dr. Manmohan Singh, opened the doors of economy, the Indian economy for the world. And a lot of MNCs, they came into the India, they started, flourishing, they started their own factories, they started their businesses over here. And that is why we call it as LPG, liberalization, privatization, and globalization. So what happened? Because of this, the sellers have increased. जहां पे पहले दो सेलर थे, अगर आप ये पिक्चर में देख पा रहे हो, तो शायद you can see that there are almost 6 sellers. So it has increased 3 times or maybe more. और buyers जो थे, the buyers were lesser than the sellers. Today, I'm sure many of you are getting calls from, depending on our, maybe even if you walk into one of the showrooms to check out how the car is, the new car has been launched or whatever, they'll quickly register your number and they'll give you a follow-up call. They'll say, okay, it's a 5 lakh rupees car or a 10 lakh rupees car. You need not pay the entire amount. You just pay maybe 50,000, 1 lakh rupees or so, and they are ready to give you the key of the car. I mean, they are ready to give the car in your custody, and rest things they'll process through banks. What I'm trying to tell you, the market has changed because of the fierce competition. And in fact, there is a recent news also last 1 week. If you go through your YouTube or go through your latest news, trending business news, you'll see the auto sector is facing a lot of slump. There are thousands and thousands of cars which are in the yards because they are not being sold. The sales has dipped, not only of petrol or diesel cars, but also of the EV vehicles. Surprisingly, even EV vehicles sales has come down. So what I'm trying to tell you, the people will be coming out with a lot of schemes. So it is more of a customer is the king here. Sorry. Now, what happens about 2000 and above? See, it's a blank. 2000 and above, uncertainty is the only certainty. If we talk about we don't know what is going to work, how things are going to move. Maybe 20 years ago, we used to use those, Sony cyber shot cameras and all. But today, where are those cameras? We are not seeing those cameras in the market because it has been replaced by, your mobile phones. So this is how the market is changing. Suddenly the company has vanished. Kodak, which was having around, I think, if I'm not mistaken, having around 7 to 8 lakh employees across the globe. They have simply vanished. Nowhere you are finding the name of Kodak. Maybe 10 years before, I'm sure you must have read about BlackBerry mobiles. Where are those BlackBerry mobiles? That BlackBerry mobile was a status symbol because they had introduced for the first time in India the mailing services on mobile. But then they were not ready to adapt to the new changes because they said we would like to have an independent server. And what happened? The BlackBerry is nowhere now. It's not there in the market. So what we are trying to say, uncertainty is the only certainty. We don't know. It's simply like perform or perish. It's not just perform. I would say innovate yourself. Try to develop. And similar things is happening in today's, even in our sector also. When I'm saying our means, it is the education sector also. Expectations have increased. The stakeholders have become more aware. There's so much of pressure on the students also. So uncertainty is the only thing which is, certain in today's world. In fact, AI, the artificial intelligence is taking away so many jobs. But at the same time, it is also creating a lot of opportunities. So what happened? If you look at 50s, 70s, during business itself was a challenge. It was more of a license Raj. How the things have changed? 70s and 90s, it has become the industrial relations. Industrial relations, if you remember, way back in maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago, there used to be IR issues. The workmen, even they used to stab the managers also. In fact, if you remember in 2014, 14 or 15, the Maruti case, where the manager, the shop floor manager, the HR manager was stabbed to death on the shop floor itself by the workers. Now you can imagine the workers of Maruti are drawing not less than 80,000 to 1 lakh rupees of salary. In spite of such highly paid salaries, wages to the worker, there is a lot of unrest which has happened. So those are, the industrial relations. How do we maintain that peace? But today, of course, now the technology has changed everything. Probably 20 years ago, 30 years ago, what dharnas we used to see, what strikes we used to see at the side of the, outside the factory gates. So today it is not that visible. Because earlier, today probably there's a WhatsApp group and the people get the message. And that is how the communication happens. So there is no dharna meetings or anything which is happening. So this is how the market is changing. And moreover, today the worker is also not liked to be called as a worker. So they are one second. So today what is happening is even the workers, they don't like to be called as workers. They are called as, shop operations, executives or whatever. And they would also like their children to go into the best of the schools and, things like that. So later what has happened after 90s when the global doors have opened, it has become talent, attraction and retention. Let me share with you when we were in industry, when we were working and when we used to hire senior level professionals. So we need to take care, like, they used to say that, okay, before coming to, your city, I would like to visit and see which are the schools which are there. Are there any malls which are there where, my family can enjoy? So the requirement is changing today. So the employees are demanding, and the talent is becoming the retention of talent itself is becoming a big challenge. I'm sure many of your, children or maybe your cousins, the younger population, which is there, those who are in there, just started their career. When you talk to them, they will say that, okay, I'm looking forward to work with the organization maybe next 2 years or so. Because working with an organization for 3 years itself is a big milestone for them. So what they are saying, they are saying we are loyal to our jobs, not the companies. We will perform, we'll get the pay, and then we'll move on. Those who pay us on the higher side. And that is how the talent is becoming more fierce. The talent attraction and retention is becoming more and more challenging for the company. And thereby it becomes a employee Raj. This is how, now how do we win? Now, how do you overcome this? As an individual, how does the student overcome this? So continuous learning and changing, improving. So continuous improvement by understanding the opportunity. So change, as we say, change is the only constant. Which is the only constant is the change that we need to change with the changing times. You cannot just say that, okay, whatever I was doing was perfect and that was that is the only way that it needs to happen. Today you go in any of the sector, be it medical sector, be it engineering sector, be it, any of the sectors. Everybody is having challenges. Even you go to your local grocery shop. Earlier there was no substitute, but today there are substitutes which are there. So he is also more cautious. He will not sell you on MRP. Maybe he'll offer you some discount. Because you can always, negotiate with him. That if he is not offering discount, then probably you will go to supermarkets. And that is how the things are changing. So change is the only constant in today's world. And that is where the challenge becomes, like when we look at, our new education policy also. So probably our new education policy, this National Education Policy 2020 is also bringing in these changes. Change in our education system. We are talking about, dual degrees and, multiple credit, choice-based system credits. First year, if you complete, you'll be a certified, so you'll do a certification. Second year, if you complete, you'll do your diploma. Third year with your graduation. Fourth year with your graduation with honors. Because a guy who'd like to make, let us say, a guy who's like to make just a livelihood for getting maybe, he would like to work in a sales store. Getting a job in a sales store itself is a big thing for him. For, let us say, a guy with a lower income group. So for him, why he has to wait for those 3 or 4 years? Maybe after 1 year itself, after his certification or after his diploma, he can join he can start earning his livelihood. And that gives the flexibility in our new, under NEP 2020. Changing, bringing, developing honing the skills and the competencies of the students. How do we make them more employable? Unfortunately, I'm not having one slide, but I still remember that, the newspaper cuttings, that only 15 to 20% of our students are employable, were employable. Now, probably that is slightly increasing. Instead of maybe 15 to 20, we need to check the recent surveys. Probably we talk about, maybe close to 40 to 50%. They are saying that they are becoming employable. When I'm saying employable means it's not just in terms of qualification, but in terms of their skills. The engineer is very good. The doctor is very good. The computer engineer is very good, but he is not able to speak. It's of no use for the company. He's not a team player. It's no use for the company. So that is why change is the only constant. And our education sector is also going through a lot of these change and challenges. So during the changing times, I'm sure next 2 years, 3 years, it's going to be the turbulence times where you will be saying that okay, many old was gold, kind of these thoughts will be there, but probably we'll see the fruits of this changes which are coming maybe few years down the line. So what does the study indicate today's? Low availability of talent is the biggest constraint for the growth for companies in India. As we say, the availability of talent, I shared my own experiences with you. Then 15 to 20% shortage of middle level managers. You don't get managers. When I'm saying manager, means it's not just the qualification and the experience. The guy needs to be a team player. The guy needs to be a good coach, a mentor. He needs to, at the same time, he needs to have knowledge. And it's not only the knowledge which he has acquired during his graduation days. Probably he needs to be updated with the latest knowledge such as Industry 5.0 and so on and so forth, 4.0, 5.0 and so on and so forth. So the middle level managers, those who can take the ownership, the leadership positions, is a challenge. Of 2.2 million graduates every year, only 15 to 20% are considered to be employable by the employers. हम लोग बोलते हैं ना कभी कभी somewhere we hear the dialogue कागज का टुकड़ा kind of. I'm sure in and around, you look around yourself. I will not say that go far away. Within your institute, you look at the students, be it any course, you'll find many of them, they may be, they may not be concerned about their own development. They may not be concerned about understanding the fundamentals of the course. I'm surprised that during my interviews, which we did for engineers, we asked some of the engineers, I'm not saying all, but some of the engineers, the freshers could not answer the definition of a straight line when we asked them in engineering terms. We said, can you define a straight line in engineering terms? Don't say it's a straight line. We ask simple questions like, what is the difference between a mean and an average? In spite of the fact it is same, the students gave different answers. They said, no, mean is not same. Average is different and mean is different. And I am talking about engineering students. I'm sure in and around you also, you'll find these kind of, students who are there. And that led to, those kind of, that is why they say that 15 to 20% are only considered as employable. Probably this percentage, if I check the latest figures, it will slightly change. Maybe the 20 must have become 25, 30. The delta X has been positive because with the changing times, the things are also changing where, the internship, the way the internship is going to create an impact. Again, it will create an impact for those who are seriously doing it. And let me share with you, since you all are into education, we all are into education. Let me share with you. It's going to be a race. There's already a race between the state universities, between the private institutes, the government institutes, and things on so on and so forth. And the institutes which will outperform, which will be honest, the faculty members will get fully involved with the development of the students. The students also, adhere to all the norms and acquire the desired knowledge and skills and complete their internship programs in a timely and an honest way. Those institutes only probably will survive maybe 8 to 10 years down the line. Because the success of the institute will depend on how many students are placed. Now, today, the yardstick is not going to be for us that how many have been graduated. Suppose if I'm, head of a principal of a commerce college. So my success story is not going to be how many have passed out. My success story is going to be how many have been placed, how many have been developed as professionals, and how many have I been able to incubate and develop them as entrepreneurs. Today, we are seeing that incubation centers, in fact, our new NEP 2020 also focuses. If you look at the Maharashtra Public University Act 2016, it talks about innovation, incubation, and linkages. So it talks about creating an atmosphere wherein, like we foster and propagate entrepreneurship. The talent which is shown by our students, how can we fuel it? How can we support it? And how can we fuel the igniting minds? So those igniting minds so that they convert into businessmen. I'll be talking, I have a separate presentation of it, which I'll be talking about, on this subject. So these are going to be challenges in today's time. So today we have to look at how do we improve the employability of our students? How do we improve the innovativeness and how do we support their entrepreneurial journey? Of course, the premier institute probably may not be facing these kind of problems, like for example, IITs and IIMs and MBA students from maybe IIM Ahmedabad or the IIMs may not be facing the unemployment problem. But the local level unemployment problems are going to be there, challenges are going to be there. See, because when I talk about my university, I represent, the Khandesh region and we covering Jalgaon, Dhulia and Nandurbar. Now, Nandurbar being one of the tribal belt, Dhulia also some of the tribal belts, the tribal areas are there. So the challenge in front of us will be like definitely because, first thing is getting them into the mainstream, the tribal population, and then again making them employable. And it is possible, let me share with you. We are doing some experiments, which I will be also sharing during the question answer sessions. What kind of experiments that we are doing over here with the local, some NGOs and the numbers, it is yielding results also. So, fine. So salaries in India were fastest growing, but slightly break in the same. Of course, salaries, industry salaries are nowhere with the other. Now let's look at the future. So what is the future? After talking all this, after narrating to all of you this, so probably, we'll come to the, like what, so what is the future? How do we develop? Okay. Before I actually move on, because since I have been continuously talking, so I would just like to text all of you that hope you are understanding and able to see the slides. Am I too fast? Anybody can respond. Maybe type and respond. Hello. Okay. So great. Thanks. Am I too fast or speed is okay? Okay. Let's continue. Fine. So I'm just coming back to my presentation. I thought I'll just take a flow. So after talking all this, now let's look at what is the future. And let me share with you, I'm very honest and very candid. This applies to you and me also. When I'm saying you and me, means all of us also, those who are in academics. Are you looking for a job or a career? There's a lot of difference when you look at, a job or a career. Before, going to the next animation, I would like to say job and a career, it's a very, very big, big, big difference. Many a times, we as individuals, I'm saying we here, it's not only the students, we as individuals may be looking for a good job. When I'm saying job, that means मुझे, जाके नौकरी करनी है. And when I'm saying career, means, I'm doing something which I like. मी झोकून देतो स्वतःला, kind of. You must have seen some of the passionate teachers also around us. Those who are very popular among the students. Well, from the student point of view, what are the attitude of a job seeker? When we talk about a student, so what does the student look? He says that, okay, work as much as you are worth. Means you get paid. Jitna daam, utna kaam is the approach, right? Two punch and one lunch mindset, right? So, one second, I think something went wrong. One second, just hold on. Not sure. Where is the sharing? Yeah. Hello? Arunji. Sorry, just hold on for a while. I'm just trying to share my screen. I'm not sure whether. Yeah. So, work as much as you are worth. जितना दाम उतना काम. इस तरह का कुछ लोगों का एटीट्यूड बच्चों का होता है. दो पंच एक लंच. I'm seeing a lot of, the youngsters who used to join the organization. ठीक है, सुबह का पंच, आफ्टरनून लंच एंड इवनिंग पंच. सो उस तरह से माइंडसेट होता है. No learning and development, lack of knowledge and skills. They don't try to upgrade themselves. Doer attitude. जितना बोलेंगे उतना ही काम करेंगे. Why should I take the risk? मुझे रिस्क नहीं लेना चाहता हूँ. बॉस क्या बोलेगा? Kind of, The fear of failure. What happens to my job if I fail? मैंने कुछ किया और वो गलत हो गया तो शायद मेरी जॉब जाएगी. So this is what the job seeker's attitude is. He always try to, confine himself to this kind of attitude. Vis-a-vis, if you look at a career-oriented guy, वो क्या करेगा? Work with passion. एक जुनून होता है उसके अंदर कि नहीं मुझे ये करना है. Kind of. It could be there in the teachers also. You must have seen, It's not just a session that I'm going to take, but it's the passion with which I'm going to teach. Is the method that I'm going to adopt to teach. On YouTube, you will see a lot of things which are happening, how the teacher teaches the students. Acquires desired knowledge and skills. I'm coming for a class on a particular subject. Have I done my own homework? Because the students, those who are going to teach, are going to come prepared. Let us say today I'm going to teach on some certain XYZ subject, a particular specialist subject. I'm going to talk about, let us say, standard deviation in statistics. Probably the students who are going to attend my class must have already read, because it's for them it is a click of a Google. But that is information. On the Google, that is information, that is not knowledge. A teacher job, a mentor job is how do we convert that information into knowledge? How do we, bore into the minds of the students and make them understand? Yeah, I think there's a question which is being asked. Yeah, please. I'm not sure if you can speak out, you can speak out or you can type. Vishal Busare has, I think, raised the hand. Okay. The person who raised the hand, I thought, I just gave a pause because probably he wanted to ask something. So, fine. So, I think there's some confusion. So, coming to our presentation, in the initial days of the career, so ये आदमी कैसा होता है जो career oriented होता है, he wants to develop his career. So, he tries to acquire the skills and the knowledge, and there's a thirst for learning. And he says, I do, I learn kind of attitude is there. मैं अगर काम करूंगा तो सीखूंगा kind of, let me try it out. And throughout his career, it is continuous learning. So developing the competence, right? If you look at the future paradigms, how it is shifting. If you look at the future paradigms, see, loyalty is more towards commitment. Seniority is to meritocracy. And social fairness is contribution fairness. What I'm trying to say, the society, how it is changing is, मैं 10 साल से यहाँ पे काम कर रहा हूँ, kind of nobody listens to these kind of stories now. Of course, it is important. I'm not saying it is not important. But if a manager is working for the last 20 years and doing the same work, like for example, I'll just give you an example. A guy in the initial days has chosen a career in a particular, let us say, I'm giving an example of accounts. A commerce graduate joins a company and he gets a cashier's role. What is the role he got? Cashier role. And he's happy with that role. And he's a sincere guy, God-fearing guy. So owner is also happy. Chalo, theek hai. Now, if this guy does not, show an inclination towards new learning, nothing, and he's happy he's happy with his role, and he continues that 2 years together, maybe 20, 25 years down the line, I cannot call him general manager cashier. A cashier will remain a cashier. That role cannot go above an officer grade. Forget, not even a manager. General manager तो बहुत दूर की बात है. So what happens to that cashier? He is a commerce graduate, but he has not changed. He has not shown his inclination towards maybe. And there is another cashier who joins initially as a cashier, but then he develops a skill. He develops his Excel skill, and he tries to know about the latest taxation laws. He talks to his managers and makes a request that how he can further add value to his role. Can he take additional responsibility along with the cashier's role? Because cashier may not be a full-time job, maybe 8 to 10 hour job. So he says, talks to his manager कि सर मैं और भी कुछ responsibilities लेना चाहता हूँ, taxation, GST, or maybe balance sheet, and that way he learns. So what happens? He will grow. 15 years down the line, 20 years down the line, these two different managers will be different. The growth of these managers will be different. The guy who has not changed, he was loyal. Both are loyal. So loyalty apni jagah pe, but commitment is what is important. So loyalty was very important in olden times. Maybe 30 years before, 40 years before, you must have seen our parents, they must have joined some organization and they have worked throughout their life in that same private company. They have not changed. But today, owners are expecting कि भाई आप 3 साल मेरे साथ काम करो. कितना साल? 3 साल. So they are also not expecting. ठीक है, ज्यादा साल काम किया, 3 की जगह पे 5 किया तो बहुत ही अच्छा है. But at least work for 3 years. At least work for 3 years. That is what the expectation has changed by the employer. But committed way से काम करो. Seniority. Seniority is not by virtue of service. Typically, which happens in the government sector, ऐसा private sector में नहीं होता है. You'll find a youngster being our, coach and, our senior. You'll find a lot of youngsters who are becoming vice president, presidents, of an organization. So where meritocracy plays the important role. Social fairness versus contribution fairness. I'm talking in terms of compensation. The compensation works based on on how much he is able to contribute and not a social fairness. नहीं, सब managers को सरी का तनख्वाह मिलना चाहिए. You'll find a manager earning maybe 40, 50,000 rupees a month, vis-a-vis in the same organization, another manager working 1 lakh rupees a month. Because that depends on the contribution that the role that he is handling. So how the talent is evolving? Old reality क्या थी? People need companies. Old myth क्या थी? People need companies. Today, companies need people. पहला लाइन अगर देखोगे आप, today companies need people, good people. Let me share with you. Machines, capital, geography are competitive advantage. Today, what is there? Talented people are competitive advantage. फिर वो चाहे वो, the guy may be from, because today, like for example, you talk about the organization who are having a strong R&D base. So they will grow. the organization which are like, uh, are having good name in the market, people will always want to work with them. So talented people are the competitive advantage. Jobs are scarce. Today we are saying talented people are scarce. बोलते हैं ना लोग ढूंढ के मिलता नहीं है यार, जैसा चाहिए वैसा नहीं मिला. Correct? This happens with us also when we are working in organization. Employers define the reward. Today rewards are customized as per people need. Let me share with you when we were working in private sector. So when we used to give them a reward basket, we used to say that, okay, this is your compensation. And the guy used to demand कि नहीं नहीं मुझे ये गाड़ी चाहिए, मुझे किया चाहिए, मुझे फॉर्च्यूनर चाहिए, मुझे जीप कंपास चाहिए. Kind of, they will demand. And then we will have to work out as per his requirement. We cannot say that, okay, manager ko sirf, Maruti is allowed. I'm just giving an example to you. I know that he is an R&D guy, so I need to get him to my company. So we will work the rewards as per his requirement. Employer determines how and when work will be performed. And today, people are looking for more flexibility at workplace. So when we look at the forward path, why some people are more successful? ऐसा क्यों होता है कि अगर हम लोग इर्द गिर्द देखेंगे, प्राइवेट सेक्टर में सभी लोग सक्सेसफुल नहीं होते. So this goes back to some theory that testing for competence rather than intelligence. See, aptitude test to ले लिया, but aptitude will only give you his thinking ability. It may not be the predictive test for a job performance. The test is often cultural based, that is prone to biases. Other measures such as examination of result references were equally poor at preceding success. So David McClelland, the US psychologist, set out to find an alternative to the traditional method of intelligence and aptitude testing, and this alternative method was called as a competency. We look at how competency, Spencer has defined competency as an underlying behavior or characteristics of an individual will enable him or her to deliver superior performance in the given role or a situation. This is a typical definition. If you look into the model, the competency model, it's like an iceberg. Titanic yaad hai aap sabko. Himakaya Parvat. Only 1/3 is visible on the top, and 2/3 is below the sea, below the water. So the skills that we are looking, how he communicates, how he is presents, or maybe the knowledge is just the 1/3 of it, wherein you get get to know the person. But his performance depends on that other 2/3, which is his attitude, his motive, his self-concept, उसका आत्मविश्वास जिसको हम बोलते हैं, kind of, his attitude, उसका सोचने का तरीका. And that is where that 2/3 which defines the year. And this is what the competency iceberg typical model is. Just to give you an example over here, I will say that let us say there are twins. I'll give you a hypothetical example. There are twins, two real brothers, those who are twins. When I'm saying twins, that means they are born to the same parents. Correct? The parenting was same. यानी उनका जो क्या बोलते हैं, the culture in which they grew was same. The parents have given them the same love and affection to both the children. So both Ram and Sham, they have hypothetically, let us say these two children were Ram and Sham, and they have acquired same kind of marks. They have gone to the same schooling. They both have gone to the engineering, same college. And hypothetical example, they have scored both similar marks in similar subjects and passed out in the same year. When I'm saying the marks were same, their, the practical marks were same, the skills that they acquired were same. Now, they appear for a interview of a company and they both get selected. Both Ram and Sham get selected. Unfortunately, they are both put on the production shop floor, and the production shop floor is also same. It's one shop floor having five machines in one line. Ram is made in charge of line 1 and Sham is made in charge of line 2. The question is, at the end of the year, will the performance of Ram and Sham be the same? I've also typed this question in the question box. Will the performance be the same at the end of the year? क्या परफॉर्मेंस सही रहेगा, सेम रहेगा? No. So, see, skills are same. Since same marks in practicals. Okay. Knowledge is same since same marks in theory. So, what is the difference? The difference is the competency. The difference is the competency. Competency, when I say competency in terms of their attitude, their behavior, their teamwork, their leadership, how they carry forward the team, how they take the team together, how they involve their team members. और वो हमारा challenge है as a teacher. Let me share with you, friends. I have come into the academics by design after working in industry. All of us, we are blessed. We have a major responsibility on us. It is not just limiting ourselves to the knowledge and the skill level, but we have to see that how they develop their competencies, how they develop the right attitude in their lives, because we are dealing with the future of India. And let me share with you, no, your institute may not recognize, your friends may not recognize, your family members may not recognize, but be self-sufficient, satisfied when you deal with your subject. And I'm sure that satisfaction nowhere you can get. So the Ram or Sham story, what I was trying to tell you, the difference is because of the self-concept, the 2/3. Because 1/3 तो same ही था उनका, skill और knowledge तो same था. But this was different. Now, how do you develop that competency? देखते हैं अभी कॉम्पिटेंसी कैसे डेवलप करना है. अभी पता तो चल गया भाई कॉम्पिटेंसी डेवलप कैसे करना है. So let's look at how do we develop. This slide, it indicates that as your competency, if you look at this last box, it talks about the resources. Resources helped in develop capabilities. Resources की वजह से क्या हो जाता है, हमारी capability build up हो जाती है. Like for example, a sportsman, if he gets good resources, typically a good khurak or good atmosphere, or be it sportsman, be it a good student, a bright student, if he gets good resources, good parents, good parenting, good teaching, good schooling, college, whatever. So what happens is he will develop his capability. Like we say, na, yeah, he is a pass out of IIT. The moment you say he is a pass out of IIT, there's a difference in looking at him, right? You see, he's an IIT graduate. He's from the Harvard Business School. He's from the London School of Economics. तो suddenly हमारा देखने का नजरिया change हो जाता है. Because these are the top ranking universities as per, the top, maybe top 10 universities of the world. So that gives them the different, वो university बोल तो क्या है? That university is not for that building and a good landscape or building and building तो ठीक है यार, building हम भी बना सकेंगे. लेकिन can we build those kind of universities? That build universities can be built with the right competent, developing the competency of our faculties and other through faculty development programs and focusing more on the student faculty ratio, which is a big question mark over here. I'm sure many of you must be facing multitasking again. Anyway, that's not the subject for today. So let's look at the resources help building in capabilities. The capabilities help developing in the competencies, and the competencies help developing in the core competencies. और जिस जिस तरह से आपका जो मेहनत लेते हो, जब आप उसके ऊपर काम करते हो, तो क्या होता है, वैल्यू क्या होती है, वैल्यू गोज ऑन इंक्रीजिंग ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल एंड द लेवल ऑफ डिफिकल्टी ऑल्सो गोज ऑन इंक्रीजिंग. जैसे हम बोलते हैं ना, खेल normally when we play any games, they say level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. So up the level you go, the difficulty, the challenge increases as the time lapses. So what are the 3 P's to sustain the challenge? How do we, sustain this challenge? It's a perseverance, passion, and pride. Perseverance means continuously आपका, कोशिश करते रहो, try करते रहो. You must have seen, the specially abled people. Such wonders they are doing. Many of them you see, especially on the YouTube. So it's the perseverance, the consistency, the hard work, the passion, and the pride. Yes, I can. That is how, leads to the passionate perseverance, persistent pride, and, pride with wisdom. Coming to, so how do we do our action plans? It's nothing but, our action plans can be done through, we typically call it as a Deming cycle: plan, do, check, act. Start your planning. There's no, best day to begin. It's today. It's the best day, I would say. Whenever the thought comes in your mind. So plan is nothing but planning. Do is nothing but execution. Check is nothing but review. Act is nothing but after you review, then again you realign yourself. And then plan, do, check, act. This is called as a PDCA or a Deming cycle, which typically, you will find in the Google also. Why I'm giving this example over here? Because these are some of the QC tools. If you look at the Second World War, I still remember, of course, I was not there during the Second World War, but I remember when I was a child, See, Second World War, what happened? Second World War was known for the Hiroshima bombing. The use of atomic bomb for the first time in World War. In the Second World War, this atomic bombing, which was done on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, today also their population is facing problems. When I'm saying their population means, the future progenies. यानी जो बच गए, जो सर्वाइव हो गए और उनके जो बच्चे हो रहे हैं, तो उनमें भी वो डिफिशियंसीज नजर आ रही है because of the nuclear bombing effect. Correct? मीन जापान जो है बेचिराग हो गया था. Japan was nowhere on the global map. But today, when I talk about quality, what happens? We say Japan. चीजें कहाँ की चाहिए? Japanese. Correct? China, we don't talk about China for quality. We talk Japanese है. Japanese जो है बहुत अच्छी चीजें बनाता है. करेक्ट? अगर आप कार की बात करोगे, होंडा, टोयोटा, निसान, all these three big names are from Japan. Correct? I'm just giving an example. So what happened? ये मिरेकल कैसे हो गया? How did this change from nowhere to the top position? Coming back to my old year, which I said initially, when I was a child, I still remember when I was in 5th or 6th standard, you know, when I was studying in St. Xavier's, Bombay. So that time, I remember our sharpeners जो होते थे, पेंसिल्स जो होती थी, मेड इन जर्मनी. जर्मनी का बड़ा रुतबा था. आई एम टॉकिंग वे बैक इन 1970s, maybe 73, 75, 76. जर्मन्स का बड़ा रुतबा था. प्रिंटिंग में हेडलबर्ग, ये वो पूरे जर्मन मेक किए आते थे. कार में अगर आप बात करो, रोल्स रॉयस आई थिंक इज जर्मन, इफ आई एम नॉट मिस्टेकन. सो जर्मन का बड़ा वर्चस्व था. इवन हम लोग पेंसिल या शार्पनर बोलते थे तो जर्मनी का बोलते थे. जर्मन शार्पनर है मेरे पास, जर्मन पेंसिल है. बट टुडे डू वी टॉक अबाउट आवर चिल्ड्रन टॉक अबाउट जर्मन? वी ऑल्सो डोंट टॉक अबाउट जर्मनी. वी टॉक अबाउट जापान एज अ क्वालिटी सिंबल. तो ये बदलाव कहाँ से हुआ है? और वही मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं. वी नीड टू हैव अ प्राइड इन अवर जॉब. देयर वर 3 टीचर्स, आई एम नेमिंग देम. देयर वर 3 टीचर्स हु चेंज द एंटायर कल्चर ऑफ जापान. और उन्होंने सिर्फ एक ही काम किया, टीच टीच टीच. सिर्फ पढ़ाते गए पढ़ाते गए पढ़ाते गए, क्वालिटी क्वालिटी क्वालिटी. और ये 3 टीचर जो थे वो जापान के नहीं थे, वो बाहर से थे. एडवर्ड डेमिंग was the first teacher. प्लीज रीड अबाउट दैट. एडवर्ड डेमिंग, जिनका हम लोग अभी साइकिल देख रहे हैं, पीडीसीए साइकिल, ये एडवर्ड डेमिंग साइकिल बोलते हैं. दिस इज कॉल्ड एज द डेमिंग साइकिल. फिलिप्स क्रॉसबी is another teacher. Deming, Crosby, and third teacher was Juran. आज जापान में जुरान इंस्टीट्यूट भी है. 2 were from America and 1 was from UK. Out of these 3 teachers, nobody was from Japan. They went on teaching, and Japanese worked only on innovation, 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 quality, innovation, quality. And today we see where they are. And that is how you can change the world. That is what I'm trying to tell you. That we are the mentors, we are the teachers, we are the gurus, we are the people. Look at us. And people look at our profession with a very, very high regard. The challenge and the responsibility on us increases much, much more. In the end, I would like to say, human beings, you know what is human beings? Human beings are like tea bags. You don't know your strength, own strength, until you get into the hot water. So we are like, we are human beings. We don't know our strength unless we are into the hot water. उस टी बैग का महत्व जब भी पता चलता है जब वो बैग गर्म पानी में डुबाई जाती है और उसका स्वाद लिया जाता है. So believe in yourself and start developing your ability. Wish you all the best for a bright career. Thank you so much. Are there any questions? We will take a short break after this session of 5 minutes or so. And then probably I will try to touch base upon what is innovation, because we are just talking about from a service point of view, developing the capabilities. We will talk about developing the capabilities from an entrepreneurship point of view, innovation incubation kya hota hai, because that is also important. As I said, as per Maharashtra Public University Act 2016, there is a special emphasis which has been given on innovation and incubation. A lot of incubation centers have been set up, and most of the higher education institutes. So you must be wondering what it is all about. So we will discuss about that. And if time permits, those who are interested, we will also talk about internships, how the internships are making the difference. How do we plan the internships? Because you can imagine, we also have faced challenge when our colleges from Nandurbar, they must have also faced challenge. So how did we overcome those challenges? So any questions are welcome.
Since entrepreneur, why should
Let's take a break. So before we move on to the second session, So guys, can we start? Hello everyone. Great. I'm getting a prompt that yes, we can start. So I think let's start the session. So in my next session, basically I'm going to talk to you about what is innovation incubation all about. ये innovation center में क्या करते हैं, what we do differently. And second thing is we will also be trying to, I will also be trying to touch base upon our internship policy. So, internship policy that we designed for our, PG students last year. अभी जो summer खत्म हुआ, so that time we implemented and how we rolled it out. So, what you would like to see first, like, maybe, and that internship policy I can also share with your Rafi sir, and then Rafi sir probably can, circulate it to you guys also, all the participants also. So you would like to just to check whether you all are awake. So I'm asking one question. Which session you would like to have first? Innovation, incubation session or internship policy session. So just to check whether you are awake and, on the screen. So I am asking one question, like which session you would like to have first? Innovation incubation session or innovation and incubation? Great. The first thing though, before I actually go to the session, I would like to give some, brief talk. Because in my initial days of my career, I have also worked with Maharashtra Center for Entrepreneurship Development. And during that time, we had a very good opportunity to interact and go through achievement motivation training and, different exercises. Being in Maharashtra, there were certain myths. You all know Marathi? Can understand if okay, great. तर मी मध्ये मध्ये थोडंसं कधी कधी काही काही गोष्टी मराठीत तुम्हाला बोलेल. आपण महाराष्ट्राचे सर्वजण रहिवासी आहोत आणि महाराष्ट्र तुम्हाला माहिती आहे आपला प्रदेश कसा आहे? सुजलाम सुफलाम. आणि सुजलाम सुफलाम असलं ते काय होतं माणूस थोडस आतले खूप सारे रिसोर्सेस आपण जर आपल्या मुलांना दिले तर मग मुलं एकदम असे हे होतात का? मी असं म्हणत नाही की होतच नाही, म्हणजे तयार. काय होतं की त्यांच्यात ती आग जी असते तर ती कधी कधी पेटत नाही, कारण त्याने सगळ्या गोष्टी सहजासहजी मिळतात ना. आता मी पाहतो की बरेचसे आपण आपल्या कुटुंबात पाहतो पेन्सिली अशा अर्ध्यावट पडलेल्या आहेत, पेन्स असेच आहे, वह्या पूर्ण वापरलेल्या नाहीये, ती किंमत नसते खरी. तर तसं महाराष्ट्र देश हा कसा आहे, महाराष्ट्र प्रदेश कसा आहे आपला सुजलाम सुफलाम राहिलेला आहे. बरं, लहानपणापासून आपण एकच म्हण ऐकत आलेलो, काही म्हणी ऐकत आलेलो आहेत आपल्या संतांच्या. काही काही म्हणी कशा आहेत ज्या आपल्या मनावर बिंबलेल्या आहेत. पडेल चढेल तो पडेल. म्हणजे इफ यू ट्राय टू क्लाइंब अप द लॅडर, देर आर चान्सेस दॅट यू मे फॉल. चढेल तो पडेल. मग चढायचं कशाला? म्हणजे प्रोग्रेस कशाला करायची, बरोबर ना? चादर पाहूनच पाय पसरावे. आता ही जर मानसिकता आपण जर आपल्या मुलांची डेव्हलप केली की चादर पाहूनच पाय पसरावे, तर तो त्याच्या चौकटीच्या बाहेर विचार करणारच नाही. आणि या मानसिकतेमुळे आपण काय म्हणतो, एखादा मुलगा, म्हणजे आमच्या काळात तरी असं व्हायचं, म्हणजे माझ्या काळात तरी असं व्हायचं, एखादा मुलगा चुकून जर आईवडिलांना म्हणला की मला व्यवसाय उघडायचा आहे, तर आईवडील म्हणायचे आहे, छे, हे आपलं काम नव्हे, हे बिझनेस करणाऱ्या लोकांचं काम आहे, आपल्याला नोकरी बरी. खरे आजही तुम्ही पहा, आपल्या आजूबाजूचे जे मित्रमंडळी आहेत, त्याच्यातले काही यशस्वी जे उद्योजक झालेले आहेत किंवा व्यवसायवादी आहेत, डेफिनेटली ते काही टॉपर नव्हते. कदाचित तो माझ्या वर्गातला बॅकबेंचर होता, पण त्याच्यामध्ये ती निर्णय क्षमता चांगली होती माझ्यापेक्षा. त्याच्यात जी रिस्क घ्यायची जी क्षमता होती ती माझ्यापेक्षा चांगली होती. मी कधी कधी विचार करायचो, आपण म्हणतो ना, जास्ती शिकलेले ते हुकलेले, म्हणजे असे माझे आजोबा मला म्हणायचे. कारण जास्ती शिक्षणामुळे आपण विचार करतो की अरे नाही नाही यार, हे असं केलं तर तसं होईल, तसं केलं तर असं होईल, आणि करत काहीच नाही मग बिझनेसमध्ये. मग आपल्याला वाटतं नोकरीवरी. सांगायचं तात्पर्य काय की तो काळ एक असा होता की ज्याच्यामध्ये प्रोत्साहन जास्ती दिलं जायचं नाही. पण आता बदलत्या काळानुसार बरेचसे बदलाव आता झालेले आहेत, आणि बदलत्या काळानुसार राष्ट्रांनी सुद्धा ओळखलेलं आहे. आपल्या राष्ट्रीय जे आहे आपलं, जोपर्यंत आपला जीडीपी वाढत नाही तोपर्यंत आपल्या भारत देशाचं प्रगती होणार नाही. तुम्ही पहा, चायना आज एवढं मोठं प्रदेश आहे, एवढं मोठं लोकसंख्येमध्ये, पण म्हणजे बरे पहिल्या दुसऱ्या नंबरवरच आहे. तरी पण त्यांच्याकडे जे इंडस्ट्रियल गुड्स जे आहे, प्रोडक्शन, हे आपल्यापेक्षा जास्ती चांगलं आहे, कारण ग्लोबल मार्केटवर त्यांचं प्रेझेन्स आहे. तर त्यांची प्रगती कशावर, म्हणजे तो फायनान्शियली एकदम स्ट्रॉंग आहे. बिकॉज इकॉनॉमी कशी वाढलेली, बिकॉज ऑफ द प्रोडक्टिव्हिटी. तर प्रोडक्टिव्हिटी जर वाढवायची असेल, जीडीपी जर आपला वाढवायचा असेल, तर डेफिनेटली आपल्याला आपल्या जॉब क्रिएट करावे लागतील, ना की जॉबच्या मागे पडावं लागेल. आणि आपल्याकडे ते टॅलेंट आहेच, बिकॉज आपले बरेचसे जे, मग ते गुगल घ्या किंवा मायक्रोसॉफ्ट घ्या, तिथे जे जे टॉप लेवलचे जे अधिकारी राहिलेले आहेत, किंवा ऍपल घ्या, तिथे सुद्धा आपले बरेचसे भारतीय लोकांनी त्यांचं वर्चस्व गाजवलेलं आहे, म्हणजे त्यांचा मार्क केलेला आहे. तर आणि मुळात आपण पाहतो, आपण फार जुगाडू, म्हणजे आपण जुगाड म्हणजे हा, आपण जे पाहतो बरेचसे युट्यूबवर याच्यावर आपल्याला दिसतात, ज्याला आपण जुगाड म्हणतो. जुगाड इज नथिंग बट इनोव्हेशन. तर त्या इनोव्हेशनला आपल्याला नर्चर कसा करता येईल, त्याला काही बिझनेसमध्ये कन्वर्ट करता येईल का, तर त्याला आपण म्हणतो इन्क्युबेशन. म्हणजे काय की त्याला ऊब देणे. ते जे त्याची ज्योत कुठेतरी पेटलेली आहे की काहीतरी वेगळं करायचं तो इच्छा ठेवतो, तर त्याला इन्क्युबेट करणे, म्हणजे त्या आयडियाला ऊब देणे, त्याला प्रोटोटाईप बनवणे, त्याला मार्केट रिसर्च करणे, त्याला पुढे वाढ करण्याकरता तो उद्योगामध्ये कसा कन्वर्ट होईल. आणि हे सगळं करण्याकरता म्हणूनच म्हणजे NEP मध्ये सुद्धा आणि आपल्या महाराष्ट्र पब्लिक युनिव्हर्सिटी ऍक्ट मध्ये सुद्धा याची 2016 मध्ये जे अमेंडमेंट झालं, तर त्याच्यामध्ये ही कल्पना पुढे आली. आणि बऱ्याचशा विद्यापीठामध्ये, म्हणजे लॉट ऑफ युनिव्हर्सिटीज, यू विल फाइंड दॅट दिस इनोव्हेशन इन्क्युबेशन सेंटर्स उभा राहिलेले आहेत. जसं बाबूमध्ये आपलं EIC आहे, अटल इनोव्हेशन सेंटर. तसंच आमच्या विद्यापीठामध्ये KBCNMU मध्ये KCL नावाचं एक सेंटर आहे, ज्याच्याबद्दल मी आता तुम्हाला सांगणार आहे. KCL म्हणजे कवित्री बहिणाबाई चौधरी सेंटर फॉर इनोव्हेशन, इन्क्युबेशन अँड लिंकेजेस. ह्या सर्व सेक्शन 8 कंपन्या आहेत आणि त्या इस्टॅब्लिश करण्यात आलेल्या आहेत. आणि नंतर मग त्यांना मॉनिटर करण्याकरता आमच्यासारखे लोक म्हणजे DIL, डायरेक्टर इनोव्हेशन, इन्क्युबेशन, लिंकेजेसची ही स्टॅट्युटरी पोझिशन निर्माण करण्यात आली. आणि त्या अनुषंगाने आमची सुद्धा याच्यात म्हणजे माझी स्वतःची याच्यात एंट्री झाली सध्या. तर आता आपण पाहूया की ही इनोव्हेशन सेंटर मध्ये नेमकं करतात काय. तर आय विल जस्ट शेअर वन प्रेझेंटेशन विथ यू. वन सेकंड, जस्ट होल्ड ऑन. प्रेझेंटेशन थोडंसं मोठं आहे, but I will try to skip lot of slides because all may not be relevant to you. Sharing. I presume it is it is visible to all of you. Okay, thanks. So, आपलं हे जे आहे KCL, this KCL is nothing but KBCL Center for Innovation, Incubation and Linkages. हे सेक्शन 8 कंपनी याच्यासाठी केलेली असते की बघा थोडीशी फ्लेक्झिबिलिटी मिळते. तिथे एक CEO, मॅनेजर्स हे ते लोक असतात. आणि त्यांचं रिपोर्टिंग मग टिपिकली डायरेक्टर इनोव्हेशन, इन्क्युबेशन, लिंकेजेसला असतं. इफ यू लुक इन टू आमचं करंट जे आहे, जसं व्हाईस चान्सलर हे आपले चेअरमन असतात. काही इंडस्ट्रीचे लोक आम्ही घेतो आणि जसं आपण डायरेक्टर इनोव्हेशन, इन्क्युबेशन, लिंकेजेस तिथे आहे तसे एक बोर्ड असतं. त्यानंतर टिपिकली त्याचं एक मॅनेजमेंट टीम असेल, एक CEO असतो, एक ऍडमिन ऑफिसर असतो, पोर्टफोलिओ मॅनेजर असतो. पोर्टफोलिओ म्हणजे आपले वेगवेगळे जे प्रोडक्ट्स असतात, प्रोडक्ट पोर्टफोलिओ आपण जे म्हणतो, तर ते. आणि प्रोग्राम कोऑर्डिनेटर, काही काही इथे आपले डिझायनर हे ते पण दिसतात इथे. बरं, आता आपण विल लुक ॲट आपण जसं म्हणतो की कोणताही व्यवसाय चालू करायचा असेल तर वी रिक्वायर मनी, फॅक्टरी साईड, मशीन, स्टाफ, रेडी टेक्नॉलॉजीज, लीगल परमिशन, लीगल सपोर्ट. आणि दीज ऑल क्वेश्चन्स कम टू द माइंड ऑफ द पीपल. सो दिस इज वन प्लेस वेअर एखादी आयडिया जी आहे तर त्याला आपल्याला म्हणजे काय होतं की ह्या सगळे एफर्ट घेऊन सुद्धा, like even if a person puts in the effort, but he learns from the experiences. And many a times, after 1 or 2 years, he may fail also. Or there could be frustration. And in the process, the business may not start also. So, okay, anyway, now coming to, so KCL, what we do is, there's entry level startups. आम्ही त्यांना हे करतो. एक साधारण 17 म्हणजे 18 ते 60-65 वर्षापर्यंत ते जॉईन करू शकतात. क्वालिफिकेशन इज नॉट ओनली, इनोव्हेटिव्ह आयडिया इज द प्री रिक्विजिट. How the application incubation process happens, there are application, then screening, pitching, and selection. Here, basically pitching is nothing but, what the idea is there, how it is. See, idea is nothing but, like for example, you may have a great idea, but if that idea is not going to solve the social problems, the problem statement of the society, it's of no use. The idea should have a commercial value to it. Like for example, 20 years ago, nobody thought about Ola, Uber, maybe 20-25 years ago. Nobody thought of Swiggy as a business. की आपण ऑर्डर द्यायची तो घरपोच डिलिव्हरी देईल आपल्याला. But with the changing times, probably with both the working hands, लोकांना आजकाल गर्दीमुळे ट्रॅफिकमुळे जाऊ वाटत नाही आणि then they prefer to order the food and have it at home. So Swiggy model is also working. So this is through some idea, some brainstorming. You all must have some or the other time traveled and you must have used hotel booking. So Oyo does not have its own hotel. But Oyo hotels are there in almost every part of the world. Similarly, Ola, Uber does not have their own company cars or drivers. But still they are one of the largest, service providers, taxi service providers. So what I'm trying to say is that these are some of the innovative ideas which some people must have thought. And then it has got converted into. So what I'm trying to say, the idea should be such that it should be addressing some of the problems, challenges of the society. It should have then only it will fetch a commercial value. When you look at this startup, when we look at this, the slide. So we typically have three types of program. One is called as a pre-incubation program, incubation program, and accelerator program. Other the name itself indicates. A pre-incubation program is where the idea is there, then the idea is tested, validated, the market testing, licensing, and all these things are done. During that, means I'm just saying that out of one cohort, we call it as a cohort. एका कोहॉर्ट मध्ये साधारण एक 25 मुलं असतील, त्या 25 पैकी 5 मुलांचे जरी आयडिया क्लिक झालं तर खूप मोठी गोष्ट आहे. Because it's not that easy also. मध्ये मध्ये ड्रॉप आउट होतात because they suddenly realize की अरे it is not working out. Then they switch to other idea. Once this another idea, then it goes to the market entry and then they go into the real market. That is the incubation program. Accelerator program, the name itself, इथं आपल्याला स्पीड वाढवायची आहे, ऍक्सेलरेशन द्यायचं आहे, तर त्याला आपण म्हणतो ऍक्सेलरेशन प्रोग्राम. असं सर्व 6 ते 8 महिने 10 वर्षभर हा कार्यक्रम चालतो. म्हणजे एक इन्क्युबेटी जर आला तर तो साधारण 2-2 वर्ष आपल्याकडे, म्हणजे पहिले प्री इन्क्युबेशन आणि ऍक्सेलरेटर पर्यंत जाऊ तर 2 वर्ष त्याला लागू शकतात. This is a typical process which I have just shared with you that ठीक है, internal screening, pitching में क्या होता कि the idea applicant, he will make the presentation of what is his idea, how it is going to solve the problem. Best thing is, I would like all of you to please watch Shark Tanks. If you have not seen, so at least one of the episode you should be watching. It should give you an idea, like, how the addition process happens. And 1 second. Okay. Please watch. I recommend that, you should watch 1 or 2 episodes of Shark Tank, which will give you an idea about, this, how the idea innovation happens. एक minute, I have just battery supply. Yeah. So fine. So we give them a EA support. Let's move on. So what are the kind of support that we provide? Like, for example, we provide them with, free working space because they did not spend on their office. They did not spend on the basic needs. Like, if they want to print something, if they want to create a prototype, if they want to do some testing, because university has a lot of testing and lab facilities. So those facilities are open for these guys. We also help in IPR chair because some if IPR, it's a patentable idea, then how do we patent it? So the university also helps in terms of patenting. Of course, KIDC is one, like, we have formed in different colleges also, Center for Entrepreneurship Development Centers. So I will just move on. So this is typically achievement of KCL till date. So creation of jobs and yeah. So every year it has been started in 2019. But typically there are around 80 odd startups where we have actually done our year. As I said, 80 odd startups. So typically we have around 79 startups. In cohort 1, there were 17, cohort 2, 14, 23. Some of them then, went from pre-incubation to incubation. That is how the 10 new and 7 promoted. So ongoing total, out of 79, 73 are ongoing, 3 have dropped and 3 have graduated. When we are saying graduated means they are on their own. I'll not go into these pictures. These are typically old EA. So cohort 1, this is the list of our startups. I will try to show you some of the startups which are actually there. So this is a Maharashtra State Innovation Challenge which was done by MSINS, that is Maharashtra State Innovation Society. In fact, from our region, we were having the highest number of applicants from Khandesh. And recently we have done a cohort 4 or 5 for them. On Women's Day also, we launched a V program, especially for women entrepreneurs. We do some outreach
So participants, resource persons has had some technical issue. So wait a 10 minutes break. After 10 minutes, the resource person has been joined. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. I will co-host her. Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry for the interruption. Basically, as you all know, यूनिवर्सिटी का सडनली वो इंटरनेट बंद हो गया एंड देन यहाँ पे रेंज भी इतना क्लियर नहीं है. So I am now connected through my mobile. I don't know how much time it works, but just to quickly take you through the presentation. So I will just
I think sir's internet issue. I will call to resource person wait of 5 minutes. Yes, sir. You are co-host. You can
Yeah.
unmute himself.
I've done that. Thanks. So fine, just to come quickly, I wanted to take you to that. So this is what we were just looking at typically. इस तरह से startups ये होता है. Outreach activity, we do a lot of outreach activity. हाँ, this is one of our ये good. So ये मैं आपसे थोड़ा शेयर करने चाह रहा था कि you see the guy over here, he is Mr. Govinda Sonone. ये गोविंदा सोनोनी जो बंदा है, he was working in as a he has done his physics, BSc physics, and he was working in Varroc engineering, Aurangabad, and he belongs from this region. So he came up with an idea initially to make perfume sticks, वो अगरबत्ती from flowers. मंदिर में जो फूल वाहिले जातात त्यापासून तो म्हणला अगरबत्तीचा बिझनेस करेल. So he started with that. Then later, because of course that business also he did, but then later what he did is he is now manufacturing charcoal making machines. And इसलिए उसके कंपनी का नाम है एग्री वेस्ट. तो एग्री वेस्ट में उसको काफी सारे अवार्ड्स भी मिले. ही वो हेड आल्सो फीचर्ड इन शार्क टैंक. ही इज वन ऑफ आवर incubator of KCL. Today he is doing quite well. He has around, I think, 3 or 4 workers with him, and turnover must be around 7 to 8 lakh rupees. It's just a startup in the initial phase, but he is supplying machines to not only Maharashtra but also other states also. This is during our convocation time. So in our convocation time also, what we did, आता ह्या तुम्हाला आयडियाज मी ज्या शेअर करतोय, बिकॉज काय होतं की तुमच्या इथे पण लाईक एट युअर रिस्पेक्टिव्ह इन्स्टिट्यूट्स ऑल्सो you should be having an entrepreneurship development cell. So kind of, whatever ideas come. So during our convocation time, we had a startup expo, kind of a small stall, which was visited by the Vice Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, and the other guest delegates also. These are other extension activities. Lot of things, lot of news and all. I suggest you visit our website, KCIL, website. If you type KCIIL, you'll get to know. Fine. I will take you through other presentation where, about the, I wanted to share with you the other. Yeah. One second. Just let me open it. Some of our financials. So KCL does not only support the startup, but they will also, in terms of, if you see here, MSINS funds. So how we have invested. If you see here, we have taken equity at the right-hand side corner. You'll see that we have also taken equity almost up to 27 lakh rupees of equity. So we also take equity in the startups. म्हणजे आमच्याकडे जे स्टार्टअप जे इन्क्युबेट होतात, मग त्यांना फायनान्शियल सपोर्ट करत असताना आम्ही त्यांचे पार्टनर बनतो. आम्ही म्हणजे KCL. KCL विल बिकम द पार्टनर विथ सम व्हॅल्युएशन विच इज डन, आणि KCL इन्व्हेस्ट करते. मग KCL त्याच्याबरोबर, म्हणजे KCLच्या आमच्या इंटरनल पॉलिसीनुसार आपण 3 वर्षापर्यंत, साधारण 3 ते 5 वर्षापर्यंत आम्ही त्याच्यासोबत राहतो, आणि त्याच्यानंतर मग त्याला एक्झिट करून, बिकॉज ही हॅज टू कंटिन्यू विथ हिज ओन जर्नी. इथे जर पाहिलं तुम्ही सीड फंड, आम्ही ह्या वेगवेगळ्या ज्या 16 कंपन्या आहेत, ज्या 16 कंपन्यामध्ये जवळपास 74 लाख रुपये हे KCL ने इन्व्हेस्ट सुद्धा केले. वेन आय एम सेइंग इन्व्हेस्टेड म्हणजे काय असतं, ग्रांट्स. मी जसं म्हणलं की बाबा त्यांना काही प्रोटोटाईप तयार करायचं आहे, ते प्रोडक्ट, कारण कसं असं स्टार्टअपकडे पैसे नसतात, मग प्रोटोटाईप करायला पैसे लागतात. तर ते सुद्धा आपण ह्या माध्यमातून देतो. आता हे सगळं जे फंडिंग आहे, this funding is mostly the funding is received, 75% is received from MSINS, that is Maharashtra State Innovation Society, Government of Maharashtra, आणि 25% is invested by the university. म्हणजे अशा करून हे फंड हे होतं. तर अशा ह्या 16 कंपन्यांमध्ये वेगवेगळ्या पद्धतीने म्हणजे ग्रांट्स असतील, इक्विटी आहे किंवा डेप्थ, म्हणजे काही डेप्थवर पण पैसे म्हणजे त्यांना इन्व्हेस्टमेंट केलं जातं. एक कोड बद्दल दुसऱ्या प्रेझेंटेशन मध्ये आय थिंक द अदर प्रेझेंटेशन दिस इन्फॉर्मेशन वॉज देअर. I will share a few other startups also with you. See, this DRT Fly Private Limited, Mr. Rausab Patil is also one of our students. He is running this DRT Fly private school in, it's on the franchisee model. It is DRT is drone robotics technology. So today the world is about drone robotics technology. So he has created his own kit. And he propagates this through different schools, franchising model. This is what, the projected sales and figures which are given. He is one of our startup. Our other startup is like, Afiruddin Sheikh. He is having this Nasak Ento. The trichogramma, it's a natural, it's not a chemical, it's a living organization. ते अंडी त्याचे ग्रो करून that controls bollworm attack. So he also started his own unit and it's doing quite well. Then this is again another Restract. मला इथं सांगायला सगळ्यांना आवडेल की दोन्ही मुलं जे आहेत हे जालन्याचे आहेत. म्हणजे जालन्याचे आहेत आणि जालन्याचे असून सुद्धा ते आपल्याकडे इथे इन्क्युबेट झालेले आहेत केसीएलला, कवित्री बहिणाबाई चौधरी उत्तर महाराष्ट्र विद्यापीठामध्ये. मी त्यांचं केसीएलच्या इन्क्युबेशन सेंटरला ते आलेत. सोमेश कुलकर्णी जो आहे ही इज ही हॅज डन इज ग्रॅज्युएशन फ्रॉम IIT मुंबई. आणि निखिल बांगड जो आहे त्यांनी बीई केलेलं आहे. ही इज अगेन फ्रॉम जालना. ह्या दोघांच्या टीमने एक रिस्ट्रॅक्ट नावाची कंपनी फॉर्म केलेली आहे. पुण्याला आहे ही कंपनी. बेसिकली व्हॉट दे डू इज कचरा जो आहे कचरा, त्या कचऱ्यामधनं प्लास्टिकचे जे बॉटल्स आहे, प्लास्टिक वेस्ट जो आहे तो सेग्रिगेट करून प्लास्टिकचे ग्रॅन्युअल्स तयार करतात. त्याच्यामध्ये आपली इन्व्हेस्टमेंट आहे. तुम्ही जर वी हॅव इन्व्हेस्टेड इन दिस कंपनी ऑल्सो. इन्व्हेस्टेड म्हणजे ते आपल्याकडे इन्क्युबेट झाले तर आपण त्यांना पिचिंग दिल्यानंतर आपल्याला त्यांचं मॉडेल आवडलं आणि वी हॅव इन्व्हेस्टेड. सो हिअर आय विल जस्ट शो यू Restract. आय जस्ट गो बॅक टू अवर स्लाइड्स. Here, if you see serial number 13, 13. Serial number 13 is about Restract. If you see here, we have invested around 13.5 lakh rupees in their company. When I'm saying we means KCL. We can say. So, what I'm trying to show you is that जिथे आम्हाला कॉन्फिडन्स म्हणजे हे वाटतं त्यांना पैशाची गरज असते तर त्यांना लोन द्यायच्या ऐवजी आता इथे आम्ही जे घेतलेलं आहे मला दिसतंय 7.5 लाख रुपयाचं आम्ही त्याला इक्विटी घेतलेली आहे. आमची साधारण 1.5% म्हणजे आम्ही त्याला 2.5 कोटी व्हॅल्युएशन नुसार 7.5 कोटीचे म्हणजे 2.5 कोटीला 1% या नुसार ते 7.5 लाखाच्या अगेन्स्टमध्ये आम्हाला 3% इक्विटी याच्यात मिळालेली आहे. आणि 6 लाख रुपयाचा आम्ही त्याला डेप दिलेली आहे. डेप म्हणजे त्याचा काही हप्ता त्याला ठरवून देण्यात आलेला आहे. त्या 2 मुलांनी यांनी वाघोली नगर परिषद जे आहे पुण्याचं तर त्याचं कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट त्यांना मिळालेलं आहे. तर तिथाचा कचरा गोळा करून त्या कचऱ्यामधनं ते ग्रॅन्युअल्स तयार करतात आता ग्रॅन्युलचा भाव जर साधारण प्लास्टिक कसं रियुजेबल प्लास्टिक जे आहे ग्रॅन्युल जर 45-50 रुपये किलोला मिळत असेल तर यांना जे यील्ड येतं यांचा खर्च वजा जातात ते साधारण 18 ते 20 रुपयात पडत असेल. सांगायचा उद्देश म्हणजे कमर्शियली इट इज व्हायबल. तर अशा पद्धतीने हे रिस्टॅक मध्ये आम्ही हे केलेलं आहे. त्याच्यानंतर मग राम अँटीव्हायरस जो आहे हा जळगाव बेस आहे. हा पण आमचा विद्यार्थी आहे. सध्या हा PhD सुद्धा करत आहे. मिस्टर कल्याण दानी जो त्याचा प्रमोटर CEO आहे. अँड ही इज आपल्याला जसं मॅकॅफे आहे किंवा क्विक हिल आहे तसं तिने राम अँटीव्हायरस नावाचा एक अँटीव्हायरस तयार केलेला आहे. तर त्या अँटीव्हायरसच्या मध्ये पण आपण इन्व्हेस्टमेंट आपल्या कंपनीने जवळपास केलेली आहे. सेम अराउंड 13 odd lakh rupees. So these are some of the thoughts which I just wanted to share with you. I hope you must have got a fair idea about what is KCL all doing about. So who is how much time do we have now? Because should we move to the other session? I just wanted to share with you. What I will do is I will share my we see only still image of PPT. Sir, it is not visible. Not show. Okay. इंटर्नशिपचा एक प्रश्न विचारलाय. इंटर्नशिपची मी काय करतो की पॉलिसी मी माझी शेअर करतो जी आम्ही इथे सर्क्युलेट केली होती. मराठी मध्ये एक पॉलिसी आहे आणि इंग्रजीमध्ये आहे. So I will quickly share the internship. What I will do is I will now move on to internship. I will share the internship policy and I will also mail it to Rafe sir so he can circulate it to you. And then if any questions are there, so we can probably discuss on those. One second, just hold on. I will go to internships. आवाज येतोय माझा?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
ओके, ग्रेट. तुम्हाला ही इंटर्नशिपची पॉलिसी दिसतेय का?
Yes, sir, your screens are, yes, sir, our screen are visible, but hi, yes, yes. अंतर्गत
स्क्रीन
पद्धत अभ्यासक्रमासाठी दिसतंय सर. Yes,
करेक्ट करेक्ट.
yes.
आता इथे मी काय करतो, तुम्हाला ना ही पॉलिसी बरीच आम्ही काय केलंय की तुम्ही जर पाहिलं असेल, शासनाचा GR आला, 29 फेब्रुवारीला एक GR आलाय. म्हटलं त्याच्या आधी पण एक GR आला होता. आणि ते जवळपास GR जे आहेत ते 90 पानाचे गाईडलाईन्स आहेत, इंटर्नशिप कशी इम्प्लिमेंट करायची. मला आठवतं UGCचा पण एक आला होता. आता याच्यात काय झालं की हे जे GR झाले तर मग ते खूप असे क्लिष्ट होत गेलं. आणि आपल्याला विद्यापीठ लेवलला आम्ही जेव्हा खाली मेसेज द्यायचा आम्हाला, म्हणजे आपल्याला सुटसुटीत कसं करता येईल, म्हणजे विदाउट कॉम्प्रोमाइजिंग ऑन द क्वालिटी, म्हणून मग आम्ही हे एक पॉलिसी तयार केली, SOP, ज्याला आपण स्टँडर्ड ऑपरेटिंग प्रोसिजर म्हणतो. तर स्टँडर्ड ऑपरेटिंग प्रोसिजर इंग्रजी आणि मराठी दोन्ही भाषेत तयार केले. आणि मग ह्या प्रोसेसमध्ये आम्ही काय केलं की ते आम्ही सगळ्या म्हणजे प्रिन्सिपलच्या ग्रुपमध्ये टाकले. प्लस आम्ही तिन्ही जिल्ह्यामध्ये याच्या कार्यशाळा घेतल्या, वेगवेगळ्या कार्यशाळा सगळं प्राध्यापक मंडळींच्या, त्यांना समजावून सांगितलं की कसं कसं हे करायचं. जवळपास आमच्या 55 कॉलेज जे आहेत, देवर 55 कॉलेजेस लास्ट इयर जे PG मध्ये कव्हर होते आणि त्यांना PGचं इंटर्नशिप होतं, म्हणजे अंडर NEP, बरं का. तर देवर अंडर NEP. आणि याच्या व्यतिरिक्त आम्ही मग वेगवेगळ्या लोकांशी करार सुद्धा केले आणि त्या कराराच्या अंतर्गत मग आम्ही इंटर्नशिप त्यांना प्रोव्हाइड केली. इंटरेस्टिंग गोष्ट याच्यात ही आहे की आम्ही एक आपले प्रश्न आपले अभियान, उन्नत महाराष्ट्र अभियानचं जे एक आपले प्रश्न आपले विज्ञान, बिकॉज बेसिकली काय आहे, इंटर्नशिपचा हेतू हा आहे की त्या मुलांना प्रॅक्टिकल एक्सपिरियन्सचं हे मिळावं व त्याची ओव्हरऑल पर्सनॅलिटीमध्ये वृद्धी व्हावी, म्हणजे त्याची एम्प्लॉयबिलिटी स्किल्स वाढावे. तर अशा अनुषंगाने मग आम्ही इथे हे डिफाईन केलं आणि साधारण एक 2च पानामध्ये ही जी पॉलिसी 2 पानामध्ये बसलेली आहे. त्या 2 पानामध्ये मग आम्ही लोकांना सगळे स्टँडर्डाईज केलं की बाबा त्यांनी, म्हणजे त्यांना सगळे परिशिष्ट देऊन की त्यांनी कशा पद्धतीने मार्किंग करायचं, काय करायचं. आणि अशा पद्धतीने म्हणजे त्यांना सर्टिफिकेट सुद्धा आम्ही तयार करून दिलं की इंटर्नशिप झाल्यानंतर सर्टिफिकेट कसे त्यांनी इश्यू करायचे. तर याच्यामध्ये आम्हाला त्याच्या व्यतिरिक्त आम्ही काय केलं की हे केलं. आणि IIT मुंबई ही एक नोडल एजन्सी आहे उन्नत महाराष्ट्र अभियानसाठी. तर त्यांच्या माध्यमातून आम्ही उन्नत महाराष्ट्र अभियान अंतर्गत आपले प्रश्न आपले विज्ञान याचं तिकडच्या प्राध्यापक मंडळींना बोलवून फॅकल्टी डेव्हलपमेंट प्रोग्राम कंडक्ट केला. आणि तिन्ही कलेक्टरला भेटलो आम्ही, तिन्ही जे जिल्ह्याचे जे कलेक्टर आहेत, जळगाव, धुळे आणि नंदुरबार. आणि कलेक्टरकडनं असा आदेश काढला की तिकडचे जेवढे गव्हर्नमेंट ऑफिसेस आहेत तर सर्व शासकीय कर्मचाऱ्यांना, त्या प्रमुखांना त्यांनी सांगितलं की आपले प्रश्न आपले विज्ञानमध्ये तुम्ही सहभाग घ्या. आणि अशा माध्यमातून त्यांचं इन्व्हॉल्वमेंट पण केलं. आणि त्या लोकांसाठी पण आपण एक फॅकल्टी डेव्हलपमेंट, म्हणजे हे IIT मुंबईतर्फे प्रोग्राम ऑर्गनाईज करण्यात आले. आणि बऱ्यापैकी आम्हाला याच्यात यश मिळालं आहे. मी असं म्हणणार नाही की फील्डवरती सगळ्याच काही गोष्टी एकदमच, कारण की शेवटी ते मुलावर पण अवलंबून असतं. पण हे घेतल्यानंतर परत मग आम्ही काय केलं की त्यांचं एक सर्वे सुद्धा केला मुलांचा, म्हणजे कॅम्पस स्कूल्सचे जे आहेत, म्हणजे हे इंटर्नशिप केल्यानंतर त्यांचा आम्ही सर्वे सुद्धा केले. अजून एक दुसरी गोष्ट, आम्ही जवळपास 20 MOU केले वेगवेगळ्या कंपन्यांबरोबर. त्याच्यामध्ये वरणगावची फॅक्टरी पण आहे, भुसावळ वरणगावच्या ऑर्डिनन्स फॅक्टरी बरोबर पण आम्ही करार केला. आणि त्यांच्या इथे पण आम्ही काही मुलं पाठवले आमचे इंटर्नशिपसाठी. आणि त्याच्यानंतर मग मुलांचा मग आम्ही एक सर्वे करून त्यांचा फीडबॅक सुद्धा घेतला आम्ही. एक मिनिट, मी फीडबॅकचं पण तुम्हाला, म्हणजे दिसतंय स्क्रीन तुम्हाला फीडबॅकचा रिपोर्ट? तर अशा पद्धतीने आम्ही एक मुलांसाठी मग आम्ही हा फीडबॅक पण तयार केला. तुम्हाला दिसत असेल की युअर सजेशन्स म्हणजे हे इथे इंटर्नशिप फीडबॅक ऑफ 76 PG स्टुडंट फ्रॉम KBC NMU कॅम्पस स्कूल. म्हणजे हा साधारण आम्ही 8 ऑगस्ट 2024 संध्याकाळी फीडबॅक केला गुगल फॉर्मच्या माध्यमातून. तर याच्यामध्ये असं एक ओव्हरऑल दिसलं की बाबा बऱ्यापैकी लोकांना म्हणजे पॉझिटिव्ह रिस्पॉन्सेस चांगले होते यांचे. काही सजेशन्स पण आले होते याच्यात. म्हणजे स्ट्रॉंगली अग्री. आणि याच्यामध्ये तुम्ही जर पाहिलं की जवळपास हे पहिले 2 म्हणजे स्ट्रॉंगली आणि अग्रीमध्ये जवळपास 90% आसपास आपल्या मुलांचे हे होते म्हणजे फीडबॅक्स होते. आणि याच्यात आम्ही ह्या फीडबॅकला 2 प्रकारे विभागलं. एक आहे सेक्शन ए जो होता तो पर्सनॅलिटी ऍस्पेक्ट्सवर, आणि सेक्शन बी जो होता हा सब्जेक्ट रिलेटेड म्हणजे तो क्वेश्चनियर जो होता आमचा, तो क्वेश्चनियर म्हणजे की तुम्हाला सब्जेक्ट बद्दल नॉलेज किती मिळालं. मग पर्सनॅलिटी ऍस्पेक्ट्स म्हणजे याच्यात आम्ही काही प्रश्न विचारले की बाबा हेल्प मी टू गेट प्रॅक्टिकल लाईफ मला मिळालं, डिसिजन मेकिंग माझं चांगलं झालं, प्रॉब्लेम सॉल्व्हिंग माझी स्किल वाढलेली आहे, रिटर्न कम्युनिकेशन हॅज बिकम बेटर, प्रेझेंटेशन स्किल हॅज इम्प्रूव्ह. म्हणजे अशा वेगवेगळ्या. आणि सब्जेक्ट नॉलेजमध्ये म्हणजे माय नॉलेज अबाउट माय वर्क, क्लासरूम थेअरी त्या प्रॅक्टिसमध्ये कसं कन्वर्ट केलं, किंवा म्हणजे माय करिअर गोल म्हणजे टेक्निकल याच्यात आहे. आता याच्यात असं हे करून त्याच्यानंतर मग त्यांचे काही सजेशन्स पण आम्ही घेतले की हाऊ डू वी मेक दिस इंटर्नशिप प्रोग्राम मोर इफेक्टिव्ह. अशा प्रकारचे त्यांचे सजेशन सुद्धा आपण ते कॅप्चर केले आणि त्या सजेशनला पण आपण हे केलं, जेणेकरून काय झालं की त्यांची सिरियसनेस वाढली. याच्या व्यतिरिक्त टू टू एनहान्स द इंटर्नशिप, बिकॉज सिन्स वी वर डुईंग इट फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम, वी प्रोव्हाइडेड देम फ्री हॉस्टेल फॅसिलिटी ड्युरिंग द इंटर्नशिप पिरियड. नॉर्मली काय असतं की जेव्हा अकॅडमिक चालू नसतं तर तेव्हा हॉस्टेल खाली करावे लागतात. तर हॉस्टेल खाली न करता तुम्ही हॉस्टेलमध्ये राहू शकता निशुल्कपणे, आणि त्याच्या व्यतिरिक्त त्यांना 1,000 रुपये स्टायपंडच्या स्वरूपात सुद्धा विद्यापीठाच्या फंडमधनं आम्ही त्यांना दिले पीजीच्या विद्यार्थ्यांना. तर अशा प्रकारे एक प्रोत्साहन पथक, बिकॉज त्यांना बऱ्याचशा ठिकाणी इंटर्नशिपचं स्टायपंड ज्या ज्या विद्यार्थ्यांना मिळालेलं नाहीये, कारण ज्यांना स्टायपंड मिळालं त्यांना नाही दिले, पण ज्यांना स्टायपंड नाही मिळालं तर ते म्हणजे इंडस्ट्रीकडनं, तर त्या लोकांना आम्ही 1,000 रुपयापर्यंत म्हणजे कमीत कमी त्याचा याय जायचा खर्च भागेल किंवा काय, तर ते एक इन्सेंटिव्ह म्हणून आम्ही त्याला म्हणजे मान्य कुलगुरू साहेबांच्या एक एक पॉलिसी लॉन्च केली इंटर्नशिपची, तर त्यांच्या याच्याखाली, आणि मग ते असं आम्ही स्टायपंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूट केलं. ही पॉलिसी काय करतो मी, ती पॉलिसी तुमच्या सर्वांशी शेअर करतो कॉर्डिनेटरशी, आणि नंतर मग तुम्ही वाटल्यास मग ते तुम्ही आपसात त्यात हे करू शकता. आणि काही जरी प्रश्न असतील, बिकॉज कसे प्रत्येकाचे इंडिव्हिज्युअल प्रश्न वेगवेगळे असू शकतात, तर यू कॅन कॉल मी ऑन माय मोबाईल नंबर, नॉट एन इश्यू. आय एम शेअरिंग माय दिस इज माय मोबाईल नंबर. These are my 2 mobile numbers. And any questions?
Hello, sir.
Ha, bola, please.
Sir, am I audible?
Absolutely, you're audible.
Sir, I have 3 questions. First of all, I would like to ask you regarding to the students.
Ha,
Sir, what I observe that the majority of students does not want to be study after the COVID-19.
correct.
They only depends on the Google and ChatGPT, etc. Can you guide
Right.
us how to take them into the mainstream?
See, basically, how do you create the interest? It is the individual capability of the faculty members. And I agree with you fully. It is not only with the student, even at our home also, if we see the same thing, we are facing the issues. The message that we try to give to the students is that what you, because see, Chat GPT or your what you say is your Google is information. It is just an information. So you have to make them realize and involve them. And involvement overall घटलेली आहे ही फॅक्ट आहे. म्हणजे the attendance overall has definitely reduced, but I think we should always look at there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Because as I said, even in internship, see, from the university side, we made all the efforts. I'm not saying 100% we may be successful. It could be maybe 40%. But how does the 40 become 60? Our sincere efforts have always been there. So as a faculty, how do we create that kind of pull factor? You know, see, we cannot, push factor is not going to work too much. पुश फॅक्टर म्हणजे काय की बाबा तुम्ही अटेंडन्स नाही केलं तर तुम्हाला अमकं फाईन करू तमकं फाईन करू. ठीक आहे, दॅट इज वन कॅरेट अँड स्टिक. स्टिक इज वन अप्रोच. बट आय थिंक व्हॉट मोर इज लाईक can we create more interesting case study method? Can we have group discussions? Because it is going to be word of mouth publicity only. If your classroom is having 50 students, maybe 20 are only attending, 30 are not attending, as you rightly said, maybe because of the COVID situation, post-COVID, those are not interested. Those 20 who are there, can we create that interest in those 20? So that 20 becomes 21, 21 becomes 25, 25 becomes 30. This is how I think we will have to work. So you will have to bring in innovation in your teaching method also. Maybe. केस स्टडी मेथड तुम्हाला घ्यावा लागेल. केस स्टडी मेथड मधनं बरेचसे ग्रुप एक्सरसाइजेस द्यावे लागतील. त्यांना मुलांना ठीक आहे तुम्ही गुगलवर हे वाचलं असेल पण त्याचा रिलेव्हन्स कसा आहे. जसं आज तुम्ही इंडस्ट्रीबद्दल बऱ्याचशा गोष्टी ऐकल्या असतील पण त्या इंडस्ट्रीमध्ये प्रॅक्टिकली आम्हाला काय डिफिकल्टी येत होत्या मी काम करत असताना ह्या मी तुमच्याशी शेअर केल्या ज्या की तुम्हीच आणि तुम्हीच शेअर करू शकता जे की गुगलवर मिळत नाही तुम्हाला. I think that is what, it's how that is the way how we will have to really work on it. There is no perfect 1 + 1 = 2 as an answer. If you do this, you'll get 100%. There are some tricks. There are some ways and means that you'll have to do that.
Sir, I would like to another ask you. Into the internship, whatever you mentioned the data, have you utilized any statistical methods apart from the percentile method?
No, it was just a close-ended questionnaire. We have given a close-ended questionnaire. I will share that questionnaire also to your coordinator, which you can go through, how we have done that. See, काय होतं की मुलांबरोबर जेव्हा आपण कॅम्पस, मी जसं म्हणलं कॅम्पस स्कूल मधनं, when we have shared that questionnaire, we have told them, we have asked their feedback. आता feedback जे आले, now my next action will be next internship. How do we improve on the feedback? म्हणजे see, they have also given some genuine feedbacks also. So those feedbacks, how do we work on those? So that is going to be the challenge for the university also, because we'll have to look into what are the top 3 concern areas, pain areas, त्यांच्या हिशोबाने. आणि as I said, we have used the close-ended questionnaire, close-ended method. We have segregated that one into some questions are related to personality aspects, means the behavioral aspects, and the other questions were related to the technical areas. Technical areas in the sense, like for example, I'll share with you. मला बरेचसे काही गोष्टींचे हे पण झाले की सर मी तर आता हिंदी MA करत आहे. मग मला इंटर्नशिपचं कसं. मग आपले प्रश्न आपले विद्यार्थ्यांच्या माध्यमातून पण आम्ही त्यांना बरेचशे पैकी मदत करू शकतो. किंवा आपल्याला हा एक आता हे ऍस्पेक्ट एक आपल्याला थोडंसं क्लोजली म्हणजे when I'm saying आपल्याला means at an academic level also. Because see, students are also having the mind frame ki I'm a pure chemistry guy, so I will work only in chemistry, in chemical engineering. सी द इंटर्नशिपचा पर्पज हा आहे की त्याची ओव्हरऑल पर्सनॅलिटी पण डेव्हलप झाली पाहिजे. तर इट मे नॉट बी ऑलवेज ट्रू की ही विल गेट अ इंटर्नशिप इन सम फार्मा कंपनी और he may get an internship in some other areas also, like other units also, businesses. So there we'll have to and second thing, monitoring them, guiding them, coaching them. See, the moment we become a coach and a mentor, probably that definitely helps for the involvement of the students. Yeah, please. It has got stuck, or am I audible? Yes, any other questions before we close? I think we can connect one-to-one. Hello.
हॅलो सर.
हा.
सर एक क्वेश्चन आहे की इन्क्युबेशन सेंटरसाठी एखादी इनोव्हेटिव्ह आयडिया आली
हा.
तर त्यावरती काम करण्यासाठी तुम्ही क्रायटेरिया काय लावायचे, म्हणजे सोशलसाठी ते किती युजफुल आहे, म्हणजे
करेक्ट. मॅडम
काय
कसं आहे
होते?
हो, फार चांगला प्रश्न आहे मॅडम तुमचा. बिकॉज इनोव्हेटिव्ह आयडियाज पुष्कळशा असू शकतात, पण तो आपल्या कोणत्या प्रॉब्लेम स्टेटमेंटला सॉल्व्ह करतोय ते महत्वाचं आहे. लाईक फॉर एक्झाम्पल, मी जसं तुम्हाला ओला उबेरचं याचं शेअर केलं, किंवा जसं आता फॉर एक्झाम्पल ते मी तुम्हाला ॲग्रीवेस्ट, ते ॲग्रीवेस्टचं मी तुम्हाला शेअर केलं, गोविंद सोनवणेचं एक्झाम्पल. त्याने काय प्रॉब्लेम स्टेटमेंट पाहिला की बाबा मंदिरात दररोज हजारो टन फुलं वाहिले जातात आणि दुसऱ्या दिवशी ते निर्माल्य नदीत वाहून दिलं जातं किंवा मग वेस्ट होतं. तर त्याच्यापासून मला काय करता येईल का, त्या अनुषंगाने त्याने ती सुरुवात केली आणि मग त्याच्यातनं त्याच्या डोक्यात अगरबत्तीचा व्यवसाय आला, त्या याला तो गेला. पण तिथं तो न थांबता नंतर त्याच्या असं वेळ लक्षात आलं की शेतामध्ये बऱ्याचशा पराठ्या हे ते म्हणजे ॲग्री वेस्ट जे आहे ते उरलं जातं. तुम्ही जर हरियाणा, चंदीगड त्या साईडचं जर पाहिलं तर दिल्लीला बरंचसं प्रदूषण हे जाळल्यामुळं होतं, ॲग्री वेस्ट. तर त्याच्यातनं त्यांनी काय केलं की कोळसा तयार करण्याचं मशीन जे आहे एक मॉडिफाईड पद्धतीने तयार केलं, जे त्याचं मशीन वाटतं 40 ते 50 हजार रुपयात तयार झालं त्याचं. तर सांगायचं तात्पर्य काय की हाऊ डू यू सॉल्व म्हणजे प्रॉब्लेम्स. आता तो जो इनोव्हेटिव्ह आयडिया जो आहे आपल्याला हा करायला पाहिजे की बाबा तो इनोव्हेटिव्ह आयडिया सॉल्व्ह करू शकतो का. पण त्यासोबतच त्या मुलाशी चर्चा करून जेव्हा आपण त्याला तो ट्रिगर करतो की त्याला एकदम असं आहे तुझी आयडिया ही काही कामाची नाही, ते मग तो हे होईल. पण त्याला जर समजून सांगितलं की ही टेक्निक की बाबा रे तुझी आयडिया चांगली आहे पण ती कमर्शियली व्हायबल आहे का, कमर्शियली कदाचित व्हायबल राहणार नाही. मग त्याच्यातनं अजून दुसरे काय इश्यूज आहेत, मग वाय जसं आपण म्हणतो ना प्रॉब्लेम सॉल्विंग टेक्निक्स, त्यातनं हे करून की प्रॉब्लेम स्टेटमेंट काय आहेत आपल्या समाजामध्ये, आजूबाजूला काय काय प्रॉब्लेम्स आहेत, काय काय चॅलेंजेस आहेत. जसं आता फॉर एक्झाम्पल मी तुम्हाला सांगतो, आत्ताच आपल्या आधी ज्या सरांनी शेअर केलं की मुलांचं इन्व्हॉल्वमेंट कसं वाढवता येईल. करेक्ट. आता पोस्ट कोविड सिच्युएशन हा एक मोठा प्रॉब्लेम स्टेटमेंट आहे, मान्य आहे मला. पण मग आता एक जस्ट म्हणत येतं की एखादा मुलगा कदाचित सिम्युलेशनवर काम करू शकतो. एआयच्या माध्यमातून त्यांनी एखादे काही टूल्स तयार केले जेणेकरून मुलांना तो इंटरेस्ट येईल की ते सिम्युलेशन म्हणजे आपण जसं म्हणतो ना की एक सिम्युलेशन तयार करून कॉम्प्युटर बेस मे बी सर्टन एज्युकेशनमध्ये ते पॉसिबल होऊ शकेल. इट्स जस्ट अ थॉट प्रोसेस, इट्स अ प्रॉब्लेम स्टेटमेंट. तर त्या प्रॉब्लेम मग काय करायचं की तुम्ही अशा पद्धतीने याचा एक क्रायटेरिया लावून तुमच्या कॉलेजमध्ये, तुमच्या संस्थेमध्ये असे हॅकेथॉन्स किंवा कॉम्पिटिशन्स घ्यायच्या. म्हणजे अब्दुल कलाम साहेबांचा जन्मदिवस असेल किंवा ते काहीतरी एक औपचारिक म्हणजे निमित्त साधून किंवा तुमचा फाउंडेशन डे असेल त्या निमित्ताने तुम्ही करू शकता. असे छोटे छोटे कॉम्पिटिशन जर घेतले कारण काय मुलांच्या मनामध्ये तुम्ही जर पाहिलं तर निश्चितच आयडिया पुष्कळ असतात आणि ते काही ना काहीतरी आपण जसं आविष्कार जे आहे तुम्हाला मी अजूनही इथं शेअर करू इच्छितो की मागच्या वर्षी आम्ही काय केलं की आविष्कारला आपली जी मुलं गेले साधारण मोठं 45 एक मुलं गेले तर त्यातले आमचे आविष्कार बदले 3-4 जण हे स्टार्टअप मध्ये आता एनरोल झालेले आहेत का आम्ही आविष्कारच्या मुलांना सुद्धा मग आम्ही त्यांच्या त्या आयडिया म्हणजे त्या उद्योजकीय याच्याकडे कशा जातील याच्याबद्दल आम्ही त्यांना इन्व्हॉल्व्ह केलं एका कोहॉर्टमध्ये त्यांच्यासाठी एक वेगळं सेशन घेतलं आविष्कारच्या विद्यार्थ्यांसाठी. कसं आहे की हे अशा पद्धतीने वेगवेगळ्या कदाचित आपल्याला एक जस्ट एक आयडियाज मी शेअर केल्या जे एक्सपिरियन्सेस आमचे आहेत.
ओके सर, थँक्यू सर.
ओके. आणि एनी वन ऑफ यू हॅव एनी क्वेश्चन ना यू कॅन रीच आउट टू मी एनी टाइम. आय हॅव शेअर्ड माय कॉन्टॅक्ट डिटेल्स, आय हॅव शेअर्ड माय नंबर्स अँड एव्हरीथिंग. बाय द वे आय बिलॉंग टू औरंगाबाद मीन्स छत्रपती संभाजीनगर. I have worked in Mahiko Seeds for almost 10 years. 15 years I have worked with Endurance Technologies Limited. 2 years I have worked with CK Birla Group. And 3 years I have worked with MCD, that is Maharashtra Center for Entrepreneurship Development. And 1 year in Johnson & Johnson. So total 28 years of mainly industrial experience. And after which now I have taken up this new role in university. So should we close? Because I have some other things to wind up before I actually leave the office. My time given to me was up to 5 o'clock, but I need to complete some other things. Is it fine?
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Yes.
sir. Very nice session.
Yeah.
Yes,
Very
Okay.
informative.
Yeah. So I will share as I promised, I will share the internship policy, both Marathi and English version, but English version has a lot of attachments. Marathi, it is in one PDF. So first, I think I'll share Marathi only. That will be better. And apart from that, I will also share the student feedback questionnaire which we had circulated. I'm not saying it is ideal, पण कुठेतरी आपण सुरुवात केलेली आहे आणि त्या सुरुवातीत आपण जसं म्हणतो ना डेल्टा एक्स हा पॉझिटिव्ह पुढच्या वर्षी अजून अधिक चांगल्या पद्धतीने आपल्याला कदाचित करता येईल. थँक्यू एव्हरीवन.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.